chosen ones? Why does your heart still burn when everyone says it should be cold? Why does God keep bringing younger souls into your path when the world says you're past your season? And why, tell me, why do you feel more alive at 70 than you did at 40, yet you're terrified to admit it out loud? If God is aligning you with someone much younger than you, this is not random. And if you're older and watching this right now, 65, 70, 80 years young, I need you to hear me like your life depends on it. You are not crazy, you are not desperate, and you are not disqualified. There's something you've been too scared to whisper. Even in your prayers, you're older now. Society says you should be winding down, settling in, fading quietly into the background. But your heart still feels alive, still wants love, still aches for companionship, still dreams of someone to share this final chapter with. And recently, there's been this younger person. Maybe they appeared in your church. Maybe they showed up at work. Maybe they crossed your path in the grocery store, and something you can't name stirred in your chest. And you felt something you haven't felt in years. Something electric, something sacred, something you're terrified to even acknowledge. You're scared, aren't you? Scared they'll call you foolish. Scared people will whisper you're too old. Scared your own children will mock you. Scared this younger person is playing you, using you, making you the joke at someone's dinner table. You've even lain awake at 3 a.m. wondering, Lord, is this the devil testing me? Or is it you? Stop right there. Breathe with me. In this message, I'm going to reveal the 7 prophetic reasons why God may align a chosen one with a younger partner, and the one dangerous red flag that proves it's not from God. I'll give you that red flag near the end of this journey, so don't you dare scroll away. Before we dive deeper, I want to honor something sacred. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and sow that seed of faith. Right now, I need you to do something. Type in the comments, Lord, align me only with what is yours. That's your first act of faith tonight. Don't just watch, participate. Listen carefully. In the Bible, God never panicked about age. Abraham and Sarah conceived Isaac when Abraham was 100 years old. Ruth found Boaz, a man from a different generation entirely. The prophet Joel declared that in the last days, your old men would dream dreams. God moves by purpose, not by permission from society. You're not watching this by accident, beloved. Heaven scheduled this conversation. God is aligning you with purpose, not with shame. And what I'm about to show you will set you free. Why does everyone else seem ready to fade away quietly, but something inside you keeps screaming that you're not finished yet? Why does your body whisper, slow down, while your spirit roars? There's still more. And why, tell me why, does loneliness hurt more at 70 than it ever did at 20? Let me paint you a picture, beloved. I know exactly where you are right now. You've watched friends pass away, one by one, until the funeral programs stack up like autumn leaves. Your kids moved to different states, some to California chasing careers, some to Texas for cheaper living, some to Florida for the warmth. You're here in New York. Or maybe you're in one of those small towns in Pennsylvania or Ohio where everybody knows your name but nobody really sees you anymore. The house that used to explode with noise, kids running, phone ringing, someone always needing something, that house is quiet now. So quiet you can hear the refrigerator humming. So quiet that sometimes you turn on the TV just to hear another human voice, even if it's a stranger selling you something you don't need. You walk past the mirror and you see it. The lines carved deep around your eyes. The gray hair that no dye can fully hide anymore. The body that doesn't move like it used to, knees that crate going upstairs, hands that fumble with jar lids, a back that reminds you of every decade you've lived. But here's what breaks my heart, and here's what I need you to understand. Inside that aging frame, there is a spirit that still feels 25 years old. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? That disconnect between the face in the mirror and the fire in your chest. The world sees a senior citizen, but you still feel dreams rising. You still feel desires stirring. You still feel life pulsing through your veins like you've got decades left to live fully, not just survive. But then the voices start. And you know these voices intimately because you've been hearing them for years now. Maybe it's too late for love. I had my shot at companionship. That chapter closed when my spouse died, when my marriage ended, when I hit 65 and the world decided I was done. My job now is just to survive until heaven calls me home. Just hold on, just make it through. Just don't be a burden to anybody. And here's the lie that haunts you in the middle of the night, the one you're almost too ashamed to admit even to God. Nobody will choose someone my age, not for real love, not for genuine partnership. I'm too old, too worn, too used up. Stop right there. That lie didn't come from heaven. That whisper is straight from the pit of hell, designed to convince you that your expiration date already passed. Let me tell you something about your life that's going to shatter that deception. Think of your life like a New York sunset over the Hudson River. You know that moment when the sun starts dropping and people start packing up, heading home, assuming the show is over. But then right when everyone thinks the day is finished, the sky explodes crimson, gold, purple, orange. Colors nobody saw coming. Colors that make people stop in their tracks and stare in wonder. That sunset doesn't apologize for coming late in the day. It doesn't dim its glory because it's not morning anymore. It pulls out its most magnificent colors precisely because it's the final act. That's what God is doing with you right now. The Bible tells us in Psalm 2:2-4, they will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. Not they used to bear fruit. Not they might bear fruit if they're lucky. They will still bear fruit, present tense. Acted to live. Producing. And here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. There is a reason your spirit still feels younger than the date on your driver's license. There is a reason your heart still leaps when you see beauty, still atches for connection, still dreams of companionship. It's not foolishness. It's not denial. It's not some pathetic attempt to recapture youth. It's God reminding you that you're not finished yet. And this younger person He's allowed into your orbit. They're not there by accident. They're not there to mock you or confuse you or test whether you're still spiritual enough to resist temptation. What if, and stay with me here, what if they're there because God is writing a chapter in your story that nobody expected, including you? Joel 2:18 declares, your old men will dream dreams. Not, your old men will remember dreams they used to have. Not, your old men will watch younger people dream while they sit on the sidelines. Your old men will dream dreams. Future tense. Still coming. Still unfolding. You are standing at the edge of something sacred, beloved. Your body may be aging, but your assignment is activating. Your strength may be shifting, but your anointing is intensifying. What you thought was your sunset, God calls it your most vibrant hour. Right now, I need you to do something that might feel strange, but trust me. Put your hand over your heart. Feel it beating. That rhythm isn't counting down to an ending. That's the sound of a beginning you haven't seen yet. Whisper these words with me. Lord, I'm still here. Say it again. Lord, I'm still here. Because God isn't done writing your story. Age didn't cancel your assignment. It just refined your anointing. And what He's about to reveal to you through this unlikely connection will prove that heaven's plans never expire. They only get sweeter with time. But here's the question that's going to determine everything about what happens next. Will you trust God enough to believe that your best chapter might still be ahead of you, not behind you? You know what the world whispers when they see an older person with someone younger. They call it foolish, desperate, shameful. They say you're having a crisis. They say you're being used. They say you should act your age and settle for loneliness because that's what society decided your twilight years should look like. But let me ask you something that's going to cut through every lie you've swallowed. Since when did God ask permission from society to write your love story? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. We are not talking about manipulation here. We are not talking about using your age, your money, or your influence to control someone. We are not talking about running from responsibility or chasing some fantasy to feel young again. We are talking about two consenting adults, two grown, spirit-led, God-fearing people walking in honor, integrity, and divine alignment. There's a massive difference, and if you can't see that line, then this message isn't for you yet. But if you're sitting there right now, feeling something sacred stirring between you and someone younger, and you've been drowning in shame because the world told you it's wrong, I'm here to tell you that God doesn't consult culture before he moves. He never has, he never will. Look at Ruth and Boaz. Ruth chapter 2-4 tells us about a woman in her 20s and a man who was significantly older, a landowner, a man of standing, a man from a different generation entirely. When Ruth laid at his feet on the threshing floor, Boaz didn't say, "You're too young for me." He said in Ruth 10, "The Lord bless you, my daughter. This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor." Did you catch that? Boaz acknowledged the generational gap. He acknowledged that younger men were available, but he also recognized something deeper, divine purpose. God wasn't playing matchmaker for fun. He was building a bloodline. From their union came Obed, then Jesse, then David, and eventually, Jesus Christ. The measure came through an age gap relationship that religious folks probably whispered about behind closed doors. So tell me again how God is bothered by age when he's orchestrating eternity. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born. 100. Sarah was 90. The world would put them in a nursing home and told them their season was over. But Genesis 2:1 doesn't stutter. It declares that God moved when logic said it was impossible. God doesn't panic about your birth certificate. He moves according to his eternal plan. Here's the truth that's going to shatter the shame you've been carrying. When God connects an older chosen one with a younger partner, he's not making a mistake. He's building a bridge between wisdom and energy, between experience and fresh fire, between the scars that taught you how to love and the innocence that still believes love is possible. You've walked through hell and learned what matters. They're still full of dreams and vision. You've been refined by pain. They're untouched by the cynicism that breaks most people. You carry the weight of wisdom. They carry the wings of passion. And when God welds those two together, mountains move, generations shift, legacies are born. But the enemy knows this. That's why he's been whispering in your ear, "You're too old, they'll leave you. People will laugh at you. Your kids will disown you. This is embarrassing." Those aren't your thoughts, beloved. That's warfare designed to keep you from the very person God has assigned to walk the final lap with you. Now, before I give you the 7 prophetic reasons why this alignment might be happening in your life, I need to break one more lie that's been suffocating you in silence. The lie is this: older equals less desirable, younger automatically equals immature or gold digger. Stop. Just stop. Your gray hair is a crown of glory. Proverbs 10:6 says so. Your wrinkles are roadmaps of faithfulness. Your slower walk is the measured pace of someone who's learned not to rush what God is building. You are not less than because you've lived longer. You are more valuable because you've survived what would destroy weaker souls. And that younger person, they're not automatically shallow, immature, or after your money. Maybe, just maybe, they see something in you that their own generation doesn't carry. Maybe they're tired of surface-level conversations and Instagram fakeness. Maybe they're hungry for depth, for wisdom, for someone who knows how to pray through a storm instead of just complaining about the rain. Maybe God put you in their path because they need what only you can give. And maybe, just maybe, they were sent to reignite a fire in you that religion tried to extinguish. The world calls it strange. Heaven calls it strategic. If this is already pushing against the fear that's been controlling you, I want you to stop right now and type in the comments, "Lord, renew my mind." Don't scroll past this. Don't ignore the stirring in your chest. Type it. Let heaven see that you're ready to break free from the prison of other people's opinions. Because what I'm about to show you next, the 7 prophetic reasons why God may be aligning you with someone younger, is going to explain what you've been feeling for months, maybe years. And if you miss this, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what could have been. So stay with me. The revelation is coming, and it's going to set you free. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. What I'm about to reveal will shatter every lie the world has whispered about your season. These aren't coincidences. These are divine strategies hidden in plain sight. Reason 1, to prove you're not done, you're being replowed. You thought God was retiring you. You thought your productive years were behind you. You believed the lie that at 65, 70, 80 years old you should be winding down, playing it safe, waiting for heaven. But God isn't recycling you. He's redeploying you. Think about this. When a 5-star general retires from the battlefield, does the military throw him away? No. They bring him back as a strategist, a mentor, a high-ranking advisor who trains the next generation. He's not a foot soldier anymore. He's the one directing the entire war from a position of wisdom. That younger person entering your life, they're not here by accident. They're pulling you back into purpose, not just into romance. This isn't about you feeling young again. This is about God saying, I need your experience combined with their energy to accomplish what I couldn't do with either of you alone. Your best years aren't behind you. Your most strategic years are right now. Reason 2, to heal the wound of being replaced, eating forgotten. Let me speak to something raw. Some of you were divorced after 30, 40 years of marriage. Some of you buried a spouse and felt like you buried your purpose with them. Some of you were betrayed, cast aside, told you weren't enough anymore. And somewhere deep in your soul, you started believing you were replaceable, used up, discarded, that younger people had moved on and you were just leftover. But then this younger soul appeared, and they looked at you, really looked at you, and saw something the world said was invisible. They saw value where others saw expiration dates. They saw beauty where others saw age spots and grey hair. God is healing you through their eyes. He's saying, you thought you were replaceable. No, beloved, you are not a leftover. You are a legacy. That younger person's genuine interest in you isn't pity. It's prophecy. It's God restoring what betrayal, death, and time tried to steal your belief that you still matter. Reason 3, to combine your wisdom with their fresh fire. Picture an ancient oak tree. Its roots run deep, 200 feet into the earth, anchoring it through every storm. But at the top, fresh green branches reaching toward the sun, full of life, full of growth. That's what God is creating. You are the deep roots, they are the new branches. Your wisdom keeps them grounded when their emotions run wild. Your decades of walking with God keep them from making mistakes that could destroy them. But their energy, their passion, their fresh fire for the kingdom, that keeps you from becoming stagnant, keeps you from settling into a rocking chair faith. Proverbs 20:10 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. This isn't about age. It's about divine chemistry that produces kingdom results. You need what they carry, and whether they know it or not, they desperately need what you carry. Reason 4, to break generational curses in both bloodlines. Now we're going deeper. Stay with me. You carry scars from your first marriage, don't you? Patterns you learned from your mother, your father, how they fought, how they loved, how they failed. Divorce runs in your family line like a disease, depression, addiction, financial struggle, broken promises. That younger person, they're carrying their own curse. A generation raised without fathers, without commitment, without the fear of the Lord. Emotional chows, sexual brokenness, identity confusion. But here's the prophetic mystery. When God aligns you, He's not just creating a relationship. He's staging a collision between two broken bloodlines so that through Christ, the curse stops. Exodus 25 warns that iniquity passes to the third and fourth generation. But Exodus 26 promises that God shows mercy to thousands of generations who love Him. Your union, if it's truly anointed, becomes the fire break that stops hell's advance through your family trees. Right now, whisper this with me. Lord, let the curse end with us. Reason 5, to show the world that love is a calling, not a demographic. People are going to talk. Let's be honest about that. Your children might question your judgment. Your friends might whisper behind your back. Society will call it inappropriate, unseemly, embarrassing. But you know what? They talked about Jesus too. They mocked Noah for building an ark. They laughed at Abraham and Sarah having a baby at 100 years old. This relationship, if it's truly from God, becomes a billboard on the highway of life that declares, love is ageless when it's holy. Purpose doesn't expire at 65. God's timing doesn't bow to cultural comfort. 1 Samuel 6:6 reminds us, the Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Your union becomes living proof that God doesn't consult society's rulebook. He writes His own. Reason 6, to give you a safe place to be tender again. You've been strong for so long, haven't you? Strong for your kids, strong through your spouse's death, strong through financial collapse, strong when your body betrayed you, strong when loneliness crushed your chest at 2 a.m. You built walls so high that even you forgot how to climb over them. You armored your heart because the pain of being vulnerable again felt worse than the numbness of being alone. But this younger person, they see past your age. They see past your retirement account. They see past your medical history. They see your heart. And something about their presence makes you feel safe enough to lower the drawbridge. God is using their tenderness to thaw what life froze. Song of Solomon 2:110 declares, see, the winter is past. The rains are over and gone. Flowers appear on the earth. Your winter is ending, beloved, and God sent someone to remind you that your heart can still bloom. Reason 10, to accelerate your kingdom assignment. This is the reason that changes everything. Are you ready? This isn't just about romance. This is about acceleration. Together, you might start a ministry, a business, a movement. Their tech skills meet your life experience. Their fresh ideas collide with your spiritual discernment and create kingdom impact that neither of you could produce alone. Ecclesiastes 4:14 declares, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. God is aligning you for assignment, not just affection. And in just a few moments, I'm going to show you how to test if this is truly happening or if you're chasing fantasy. If even one of these 7 reasons hit your spirit like lightning, type in the comments right now, Lord, if this is you, I receive it in wisdom, not desperation. Wisdom. Because here's what you need to understand. This isn't about God trying to make you look young again. It's about Him matching your spirit assignment with someone whose time on earth can help carry it forward. But how do you know if this is God or just your loneliness playing tricks on you? That's what we're about to uncover. Let's talk real for a second. The moment God aligns you with something sacred, hell mobilizes. And when that sacred thing is a younger partner that society says you have no business being with, beloved, buckle up. The warfare isn't coming. It's already here. You thought finding love again would bring peace, didn't you? But instead you're facing resistance, judgment, warfare so thick you can taste it. And you're wondering if maybe everyone else is right. Maybe you are crazy. Maybe you should let this go before you embarrass yourself. Stop, right there. What you're experiencing isn't proof that this is wrong. It's proof that this is important. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on fake threats. You've got hell's attention because heaven put a target on your back the moment this alignment began. They'll call you crazy. They already have, haven't they? They'll say you're being irresponsible, delusional, desperate. They'll tell you this younger person is scamming you, using you, playing you like a fiddle. They'll paint you as the fool in a story they've already written. Your own children might look at you with embarrassment. Your friends will exchange knowing glances. Church folks will smile to your face and shred you in the parking lot. At their age, you'd think they'd know better. That young person is clearly after their money. And here's the knife that cuts deepest. Some of it won't come from discernment. It'll come from jealousy. From people who buried their own hearts decades ago and can't stand to watch yours come back to life. From friends who settled for loneliness and resent that you refused to. But the external attacks, those you can handle, it's the internal battles that wake you up at 3 a.m. You stand in front of that mirror longer now, don't you? Examining every wrinkle, every age spot, every sag that gravity has claimed. You wonder how long before they see what everyone else sees. An old body, a fading mind, a relic from another era. Your health scares terrify you now in ways they never did. That doctor's appointment feels like a countdown. What if you get sick? What if you become a burden? What if they wake up one morning and think, what am I doing with someone so old? The insecurity eats at you. When they're on their phone, you wonder who they're texting. When they mention a friend their own age, panic grips your chest. Your mind spirals into scenarios you hate yourself for imagining. This is the refiner's fire, beloved, and God isn't stopping it. He's watching it. Malachi 3:3 tells us, He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. A refiner doesn't walk away from the fire. He sits, he watches. When the heat rises to unbearable levels, he's not abandoning the process, he's intensifying it. Because he needs to see if what's in the crucible is gold or cheap metal. God allows the heat to rise not to burn you, but to reveal whether this bond can survive truth, endure time, withstand testing. Every attack you're facing is actually a question being asked in the heavenly courtroom. Is this real? Is this pure? Is this mine? And the final test, the one that matters more than all others, is this. Does this relationship push you closer to God or pull you away? Does it sharpen your purpose or blur your calling? Does it bring healing or reopen wounds? Does it make you more responsible, more mature, more like Christ? Or does it make you secretive, compromising, and distant from the Lord? That's the litmus test. That's the fire that reveals everything. If this connection makes you lie to your prayer group, skip church, compromise your values, fall into sexual sin, become someone your grandchildren wouldn't recognize, then beloved, that's not God. That's flesh dressed up as fate. But if this relationship makes you pray harder, seek God deeper, live cleaner, love stronger, serve better, if it makes you want to be the best version of yourself, then what you're facing isn't destruction. It's confirmation. And that's exactly why the one red flag I'm going to give you matters so much. Because not every feeling is from God. Not every attraction is divine. There's one sign, one unmistakable warning that will tell you if you're walking in alignment or walking into a trap. Stay with me. But right now, if you're feeling this warfare, if the judgment is suffocating, if doubt is deafening, write in the comments, Lord, protect my heart from counterfeits. Because anything that is truly from God will survive truth, time, and testing. And if this is real, heaven itself will fight for you. But first, you need to understand what you're really carrying and why the enemy is so terrified of it. Now listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to give you isn't just theory. This is a battlefield manual for your heart. This is how you separate divine alignment from demonic assignment. This is how you know whether that younger soul standing in front of you was sent by heaven or planted by hell. You need a framework. You need clarity. You need something stronger than your feelings. Because feelings will lie to you at 2 a.m. when you're lonely and that text message lights up your phone. So I'm giving you the 4 pillars of discernment. Write these down. Tattoo them on your spirit, because your eternity might depend on getting this right. Pillar 1. Character over chemistry. Lust is fast, love is patient. Let me say that again because the enemy wants you to miss this. Lust rushes, love waits. Lust demands, love serves. Lust hides in darkness, love stands in the light. So here's your first test. Does this younger person have integrity when nobody's watching? Do they respect your age, your boundaries, your faith, or do they push, manipulate, pressure you to compromise what you've stood for all these years? Because real love doesn't ask you to shrink. Real love doesn't make you feel ashamed of your convictions. Real love doesn't whisper, just this once, nobody has to know. If this person is constantly testing your moral boundaries, constantly seeing how far they can push you from your values, that's not love. That's infiltration. 1 Corinthians 4 says love is patient, love is kind. It doesn't demand its own way. It doesn't dishonor others. So ask yourself right now, is this connection building your character or eroding it? Is it making you more like Christ or more like the world? Pillar 2. Alignment over aesthetic. Yes, attraction matters. I'm not going to stand here and tell you chemistry doesn't count. But here's what the world won't tell you. Attraction fades, but assignment lasts forever. You can be physically drawn to someone and spiritually misaligned with them. And that misalignment will destroy you in the long run. So here's your second test. Do your callings rhyme? Does your vision for the future align? When they talk about their dreams, their purpose, their relationship with God, does something in your spirit say, yes, this fits? Or does it feel like you're forcing puzzle pieces that were never meant to connect? Amos 3:3 asks the most important question, can two walk together unless they are agreed? You can't build a God-honoring relationship with someone who's walking in the opposite direction. If they're running toward the world and you're running toward the kingdom, one of you will have to stop. And it's usually the one who loves God more who gets pulled down. Does this younger partner share your burden for the lost? Do they pray like you pray? Do they hunger for God's presence like you do? Or are you constantly making excuses for why they don't go to church, why they don't read the word, why their lifestyle doesn't match their lips? Pillar 3. Community confirmation. Now this is where it gets uncomfortable, but it's absolutely critical. 1 or 2 trusted, mature believers who know you deeply, who have walked with you through fire, who love you enough to tell you the truth even when it hurts. Do they have peace about this connection? Or is there a constant warning in their spirit? I'm not talking about jealous people. I'm not talking about bitter folks who can't stand to see you happy. I'm talking about the wise ones, the prayer warriors, the people who have proven their love for you over decades. Proverbs 19:4 says, where there is no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors there is safety. If every spiritual person in your life is waving red flags and you're ignoring them because they just don't understand, beloved, that's not faith. That's foolishness. God speaks through community. If the people who know you best, who have no agenda except your spiritual well-being, are all saying, something's not right here, you need to stop and listen. Pride says, they're just haters. Wisdom says, maybe I'm too close to see clearly. Pillar 4, peace of the Holy Spirit. This is the ultimate test. This is where everything else falls away and it's just you and God in the secret place. When you pray about this person, when you bring them before the throne in absolute honesty, what happens in your spirit? Is there a quiet, steady peace? The kind of peace that Philippians 4:10 talks about. The peace that surpasses all understanding. Or is there constant confusion, nagging anxiety, secret guilt that you can't shake no matter how hard you try to justify this connection? Because here's what I promised you earlier. Here's the one red flag that proves this is not from God. If this younger partner constantly pulls you away from God, away from prayer, away from integrity, away from your spiritual health, away from the presence of the Almighty, that is not alignment. That's a distraction. That's an assignment from hell disguised as a blessing from heaven. God will never send you a partner who costs you your soul. Read that again. God will never send you a partner who costs you your soul. If being with this person means compromising your faith, hiding your relationship from God, living in secret sin, or drifting from the Lord's presence, you already have your answer. And you know it. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to whisper this. Holy Spirit, reveal the truth about this connection. Don't be afraid of the answer. If it's from God, He'll confirm it with such clarity you won't be able to deny it. If it's not from God, He loves you too much to keep you blind. He'll show you. Trust Him enough to ask. God will never send a partner that costs you your soul, but He will send a partner that calls you higher, draws you closer to Him, and makes you more like Christ. Now the question is, which one are you dealing with? Listen to me, beloved. Before God can align you with what's coming, He needs to heal you from what already happened. And I know some of you just flinched when I said that. I know your chest tightened, because you've been carrying something heavy for so long. You've forgotten what it feels like to breathe without that weight. Some of you need to forgive yourself tonight, for the divorce that shattered your family, for the mistakes you made when you were younger and angrier, for the times you picked the wrong person because you were desperate or lonely or convinced that was all you deserved. You've been punishing yourself for decades, haven't you? Replaying those decisions like a broken record at 2 a.m., whispering to yourself, if only I had known better, if only I had waited, if only I had listened to God. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to hear. Your past does not disqualify your future. Romans 1 says it plainly. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, not some condemnation. Not a little bit of shame if you really messed up bad. No condemnation. That means the guilt you're carrying, God already threw it in the sea of forgetfulness. But you keep diving down to retrieve it. Others of you need to forgive someone else. The spouse who walked out on you after 30 years. The partner who cheated, who lied, who made you feel worthless. The person who died on you, yes, I said it, who left you here alone when you thought you'd grow old together. You're angry. You have every right to be angry, but that anger is a chain around your ankle, and God can't move you forward while you're still shackled to what's behind you. Ephesians 4:3-2 commands us, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you, not when they deserve it, not when they apologize, not when it feels fair. You forgive because holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Now I want you to do something with me. Close your eyes for just a moment. I want you to picture something. Imagine every painful memory, every heartbreak, Every moment someone told you that you were too old, too damaged, too broken to be loved again. Imagine all of it collected in a photo album. Every failed relationship is a picture. Every lonely night is a page. Every cruel word is a caption underneath. Now picture yourself sitting at a table with God, and you slide that album across to him. Slowly. Your hands are shaking because you've held onto this for so long. But you push it toward him anyway and you whisper, "Lord, here. I give it back to you. I can't carry this anymore." And here's what happens next. God doesn't flip through those pages to shame you. He doesn't study your failures and shake his head in disappointment. No, he closes that album without even opening it, and he pushes something else back across the table to you. It's a new book. The pages are blank. The cover is gold, and written on the front in his handwriting it says, "What comes next?" That's what tonight is about, chosen one. Not rehearsing what went wrong, but preparing for what God is making right. But I need to pray over some specific things that have been choking the life out of you. Father, right now I come against the spirit of loneliness that has convinced your children they will die alone. I break that lie in the name of Jesus. Some of them have been eating dinner by themselves for so many years they've forgotten what it feels like to share a meal with someone who actually sees them. Lord, you said in Genesis 2:10, "It is not good that man should be alone." You didn't say that's only true when you're young. You didn't put an age limit on companionship. So I'm asking you tonight, send divine alignment to the ones who are ready. I pray over the shame around age. The voice that whispers, "You're 72 years old and you still want romance. How pathetic." Father, kill that voice. Silence it. Because your word says in Psalm 24, "They shall still bear fruit in old age. They shall be fresh and flourishing, fresh, flourishing. Not dried up, not forgotten, not disqualified." And Lord, I speak directly to the fear of being used. So many of them have been burned before, manipulated, taken advantage of. And now they're terrified that this younger person is just after their money, their house, their social security check. Father, give them discernment. Give them wisdom. Let them know the difference between someone who loves them and someone who's using them. Proverbs 3:6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Direct their paths, Lord. Now I need you to say something out loud with me. Don't just think it, speak it. Even if your voice cracks. Even if you're alone in your living room. Say it. I am not too late. Say it again, louder. I am still worthy of real love. One more time, mean it. My age is not a curse, it's a crown. And now this one. This is the most important. Say it like you're making a covenant with heaven. Lord, align me only with what is holy, what is safe, what is truly from you. For those of you who are already in an age gap relationship, maybe you met someone younger and your heart came alive again, but you're scared. You're questioning, you're wondering if this is real. I want to pray over you specifically. Father, if this relationship is from you, strengthen it. Build a hedge of protection around it. Give them wisdom to navigate the judgment, the criticism, the raised eyebrows. But Lord, if this relationship is not from you, gently remove it. Don't let them stay in something that will ultimately destroy them. Show them the red flags, open their eyes. Because tonight isn't just about a younger partner, beloved. Tonight is about God proving to you something you stopped believing a long time ago. You are still worth choosing. You are still worth pursuing. You are still worth someone's time, their attention, their love. The world tried to convince you that your value expired with your youth. But God is about to show you that your worth was never tied to your age in the first place. So what happens now? What happens when someone whose heart has been buried for years finally gives God permission to resurrect it? Let's stop pretending for a second. Let's get brutally honest about what's really keeping you up at night. You're not 25 anymore. Your knees announce themselves every time you stand up from a chair. Your energy doesn't flow like a river, it comes in waves, unpredictable, sometimes strong, sometimes barely a trickle. You take pills in the morning that younger people don't even know the names of. Your body has become a conversation partner you never asked for, reminding you daily that time has done its work. And the idea of a younger partner loving this body, dear God, it terrifies you. Because here's what you're really thinking in those 3 moments when sleep won't come. You think, what if they're secretly comparing me to someone younger, firmer, more intact? You think, what if my health crashes and they're trapped, stuck taking care of a sick old person when they should be living their prime? You think, what if they want intimacy I can't physically keep up with? What if I disappoint them? What if I become their burden instead of their blessing? Stop right there. I see you. I see the shame you carry about the very body that God has kept alive all these years. You look in the mirror and you see deterioration. You see wrinkles like fault lines across a landscape that used to be smooth. You see age spots, sagging skin, scars from surgeries, stretch marks from pregnancies decades old. You see a body that's been through wars, and you wonder how anyone, especially someone young and beautiful, could look at this and feel desire. But that's the lie, beloved. That's the poisonous whisper the enemy has been feeding you since the first grey hair appeared. Your body is not a problem to be solved. Your body is a testimony written in flesh. Think about it like this. Your body is like a house that's been lived in for 70, 80 years. It's got scratches on the walls where children grew up. It's got dents in the floor where life happened. Maybe there's a broken stair here and there, a leaky faucet, creaking floorboards that sing when you walk across them in the morning. The paint isn't fresh. The roof has been patched. The foundation has settled. But my God, the stories that house holds. The value of a home isn't in how shiny the paint is. It's in the life that's been lived inside. It's in the meals shared at that kitchen table. It's in the prayers whispered in that bedroom. It's in the laughter that echoed through those hallways. It's in the storms that house weathered and still stood standing. A younger partner who's truly sent by God doesn't look at your house and see decay. They see history. They see endurance. They see proof that something has been tested by time and survived. Listen to what Scripture tells us. 2 Corinthians 4:6 says, "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." Outwardly wasting away, Paul didn't sugarcoat it. He acknowledged the physical reality. But inwardly something else is happening. Something more valuable than youth. The right, God-sent younger partner isn't attracted instead of your scars. They're attracted with your scars. They see the glory of survival in them. They see the evidence of a life fully lived. They see someone who didn't just exist, someone who endured. God doesn't hand them a mannequin, perfect and plastic and untouched by life. He gives them a miracle that's still breathing. A soul that's been refined by fire and came out gold. A heart that's been broken and mended and somehow still knows how to love. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about intimacy. You're thinking about those vulnerable moments when bodies meet, and you can't hide behind clothes or makeup or clever lighting. You're scared of being naked, not just physically, but emotionally, in front of someone whose body hasn't been marked by time the way yours has. Can I tell you something that might shake you? The Song of Solomon, the most intimate book in the entire Bible, was written about mature love, not teenage passion. Chapter 4, verse 1. "How beautiful you are, my darling. Oh, how beautiful." This wasn't spoken to a 20-year-old. This was spoken to someone whose beauty had deepened with time, someone whose eyes held stories, someone whose body had lived. Real attraction, God-ordained attraction, isn't about perfect skin. It's about recognized souls. It's about someone looking at you and seeing not just what you are, but who you've become through everything you've survived. Your health concerns, they're real. I won't diminish them. Maybe you take medication. Maybe you've had surgeries. Maybe you tire easily. Maybe intimacy looks different now than it did 40 years ago. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. A younger partner aligned by God isn't looking for a sexual athlete. They're looking for a soul mate. Someone whose presence brings peace. Someone whose wisdom brings clarity. Someone whose love brings healing. The Apostle Paul was likely dealing with physical ailments when he wrote his letters. He mentions his thorn in the flesh. Yet his impact, his intimacy with God, his spiritual authority only grew stronger as his body grew weaker. 2 Corinthians 10:2, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Perfect in weakness. Not despite weakness, in weakness. So tonight, I'm going to give you an assignment that might hurt at first, but I promise you it's sacred. After this message, I want you to stand in front of your mirror. No filters, no clever angles, just you and your reflection. And I want you to place your hand on your heart and say out loud, "Lord, thank you that I am still here. Thank you that this body carried me through every storm. Thank you that I survived." That's where healing starts, beloved. Not in pretending your body is something it's not, but in honoring what it is, a temple that's been lived in, prayed in, loved in. Your age doesn't make you less beautiful. It makes your love more expensive, because you know its value, you know its cost. You know what it takes to keep loving when life gets hard. But there's one more lie we need to break before you can fully step into this. A lie about what you deserve, what you're worthy of, and why God might be bringing someone younger into your life not to mock you, but to complete something He started in you long ago. Are you ready to hear it? Let me ask you something that's been eating at your soul in the middle of the night. You're 72 years old. You've got a house that's paid off. Maybe there's a pension check coming in every month, some retirement savings you worked 40 years to build. And now there's this younger person showing interest in you, and the first thought that crashes through your mind isn't joy, it's terror. You're terrified they see dollar signs instead of your soul. You're scared to death that when they look at you, they don't see the person you are, they see the assets you own. The deed to your house, the life insurance policy, the will you haven't updated in 15 years. And you're wondering if this warmth you feel, this connection that seems so real, is actually just the oldest con game in the book dressed up in sweet words and soft touches. I know, I see you. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this or pretend this danger doesn't exist. Because, beloved, in America today, financial abuse of seniors is an epidemic. Every year, older adults lose over $3 billion to scams, manipulation, and so-called romantic partners who are really just running long cons. The FBI calls it one of the fastest growing crimes in this country. So when you feel that fear rising in your chest, when you wake up at 3 a.m. wondering if you're being played, that's not paranoia. That's wisdom trying to protect you. But here's what I need you to understand. Just because there are counterfeits doesn't mean there aren't real ones. The existence of fake $100 bills proves the value of the real thing. And yes, there are wolves in sheep's clothing. But there are also genuine souls sent by God who see your worth, not your wallet. The question is, how do you tell the difference? Some of you have lived your whole lives like an open safe. Anybody who smiled at you got the combination. Anybody who said they needed help got access to your checkbook. Anybody who showed you a little attention got keys to your accounts, your heart, your time. You've been generous to a fault, and people have taken advantage of that beautiful, giving spirit. No more. In this season, God is not just bringing you a partner. He's turning you into a guarded vault. He's giving you discernment that cuts through manipulation like a hot knife through butter. He's installing spiritual alarm systems in your soul that will scream when something's not right. Listen to me carefully. Proverbs 4:20 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." But in 2025 in America, we need to add, guard your bank account too. Because the enemy knows that if he can't kill your faith, he'll try to bankrupt your future. Here's your spiritual and practical checklist. Write this down, screenshot this. Tattoo it on your soul if you have to. Do they get angry when you say no financially? Real love respects boundaries. Manipulation throws tantrums. Are they only affectionate right before asking for something? Watch the pattern. If every kiss comes with a request, if every "I love you" leads to "Can you help me with," you're not in a relationship, you're in a transaction. Do they pressure you to sign things quickly in secret? Listen to me, God's timing never requires you to hide legal documents from your family. If they're rushing you to change your will, add their name to your deed, co-sign a loan, wire money overseas, that's not love. That's theft in slow motion. Are they more interested in what you own than in what you feel? Do they ask about your retirement account more than your childhood dreams? Do they know your property value better than your favorite song? Pay attention. Real intimacy wants to know your heart. Counterfeit intimacy wants to know your net worth. Jesus dealt with this exact manipulation. In Matthew 26, of Judas pretended to care about the poor while he was stealing from the money bag. He wore the mask of righteousness while his heart was calculating profit. And beloved, that same spirit is alive and well today, targeting vulnerable, lonely, beautiful souls who just want to be loved. But don't you dare let fear steal your chance at real connection. Don't let the existence of wolves convince you there are no sheep. Don't let past betrayals build walls so high that God's genuine provision can't get through. Here's the prophetic truth I need you to catch. Real love doesn't rush your wallet. Real love respects your wisdom. Say it with me. Real love doesn't rush your wallet. Real love respects your wisdom. A genuine partner sent by God will never make you choose between love and financial safety. They won't isolate you from your family. They won't pressure you to make quick decisions about money. They won't get offended when you want to move slowly, consult your children, talk to your attorney, pray about major financial steps. In fact, a real covenant partner will encourage you to protect yourself. They'll say, take your time. Talk to your family. Make sure you're comfortable. I'm not going anywhere, because authentic love has nothing to hide and no deadline to beat. The enemy will try to turn your desire for love into a financial trap. But God is turning it into a covenant, not a contract. A covenant is built on faithfulness, transparency, and time. A contract is built on what you can get before the other person wakes up. Right now, type this if you agree. Lord, protect my heart and my accounts. It's not unspiritual to be smart. It's not faithless to have boundaries. God gave you a brain, discernment, and the Holy Spirit precisely so you wouldn't be devoured by predators dressed as companions. You can be open to love and protected at the same time. You can be hopeful and wise simultaneously. You can believe in divine alignment while still checking someone's character, their fruit, their consistency over months and years, not just days and weeks. Because here's what's coming in the next part of this journey. I'm going to show you the 7 biblical signs that this alignment is truly from God. Not from loneliness, not from manipulation, from the throne room of heaven itself. But you had to pass through this fire first. You had to face the fear. You had to name the danger. Because only when you know what to avoid can you recognize what to embrace. Let me paint you a picture you already know is coming. Thanksgiving dinner. You walk through that door with someone younger on your arm. The entire room freezes like somebody hit pause on a movie. Your daughter's fork stops halfway to her mouth. Your son's eyes go wide. Your grandkids stare like they just saw a ghost. And then someone, usually your sister, breaks the silence with that fake cheerful voice. "So, this is your friend." Friend. That word drips with judgment, doesn't it? Or maybe it's Sunday morning at church. You walk down the aisle together, and suddenly the sanctuary feels like a courtroom. The whispers start before you even sit down. Sister Margaret leans over to Sister Patricia. Deacon Johnson raises his eyebrows at Elder Thomas. The smiles are plastic, the handshakes are cold, and you can feel it, the invisible wall of judgment closing in around you like prison bars. You thought following God would bring you peace. Instead, it brought you a battlefield disguised as a family reunion. Here's what nobody tells you about divine alignment. When God moves you into something new, everybody around you has to decide whether they're moving with you or staying stuck where they are. And beloved, most people choose stuck. Not because they hate you, but because your breakthrough exposes their own stagnation. Your new love holds up a mirror to their empty beds, their loveless marriages, their decades of settling for less than God's best. Let me break down what's really happening when your family loses their minds over your relationship. Some of it is fear, real, genuine fear. They're terrified you're being used, manipulated, played for a fool by someone half your age who sees dollar signs instead of a human being. They've watched too many news stories about scammers targeting seniors. They've seen Dateline episodes that start exactly like your story. So when they ask invasive questions about money or pull you aside with warnings, understand this. Their fear comes from love twisted by worry. But here's the harder truth, some of it is control. For years, maybe decades, you've been emotionally available to everyone else. You babysat the grandkids every weekend. You were the emergency contact, the crisis counselor, the family bank, the shoulder to cry on. They got used to having unlimited access to your time, your energy, your wallet, your whole life. And now you're saying no because you're building something with someone else. They don't know how to function without you playing your assigned role. So they disguise their selfishness as concern. And then there's the jealousy. Oh, beloved, this one cuts deep because nobody wants to admit it. But watch carefully, the loudest critics are often the loneliest people. Your sister who's been married 40 years but hasn't felt romance in 30. She's angry you found what she lost. Your son who settled for a lukewarm marriage because it was practical. He resents that you're choosing passion at 70 while he gave up on it at 30. Your church friends who buried their desires under religious duty. Your joy reminds them of dreams they killed years ago. A new relationship is like an emotional earthquake in your family. And here's what earthquakes do: they don't create cracks. They expose cracks that were already there. That tension with your daughter, it didn't start with this relationship. It's been building for years. That distance from your son, this didn't cause it. This revealed it. The gossip at church, those people were always judgmental. You just never stood in their crosshairs before. Jesus said in Matthew 3:6, "A man's enemies will be the members of his own household." He wasn't being dramatic. He was being honest. Sometimes the people who claim to love you the most will fight your destiny the hardest because your obedience to God disrupts their comfort. But here's your spiritual strategy, and you better write this down. First, pray before you introduce them. Don't spring this on your family without covering it in intercession first. Ask God to soften hearts, open minds, prepare the way. Spiritual battles are won on your knees before they ever reach the dinner table. Second, set boundaries that honor both your family and your relationship. You can say, "I love you," but you don't get to disrespect the person God has brought into my life. Love doesn't mean letting people walk all over what God is building. Honoring your parents doesn't mean surrendering your entire destiny to their approval. Third, keep communication open with your children, but don't give them veto power over your happiness. Listen to their concerns. Address real red flags if they exist. But understand the difference between wisdom and manipulation. If they're bringing valid concerns backed by evidence, hear them. If they're just uncomfortable with change, that's their issue to process, not yours to fix. Ephesians 4:13 says we should speak the truth in love, not truth without love, that's cruelty, not love without truth, that's cowardice, but truth wrapped in love. You can stand firm in your calling while staying tender toward your family's struggles. Your adult children are scared of losing you. They're scared of change. They're scared this new person will take their inheritance, their access, their version of who you're supposed to be. Acknowledge their fear. Validate their feelings. But don't let their fear become your prison. In the next segment, I'm going to give you a kingdom blueprint for building a real, God-honoring covenant with a younger partner step by step. The practical wisdom you need to make this work when everybody's watching and most people are hoping you fail. But right now, I need you to make a declaration. If you're willing to love your family without letting them run your destiny, type this: Lord, help me love my family without letting them run my destiny. Because here's the truth that will set you free. You can honor your family and still obey God. It's not either or, it's both, and with wisdom. You can respect their concerns without surrendering to their control. You can maintain relationship without sacrificing your destiny. The question is, are you strong enough to stand in that tension, or will you cave to keep the peace and miss what God has for you? Listen to me carefully, beloved. You can't build a kingdom marriage on butterflies and good intentions. You can't sustain a covenant on chemistry alone. And you absolutely cannot survive the scrutiny, the judgment, the whispers behind your back without a foundation so solid that hell itself can't shake it. I'm about to give you something most pastors won't touch. A blueprint, a roadmap, a sacred manual for building an age-gap relationship that doesn't just survive, but thrives under the watchful eyes of heaven and the suspicious stares of earth. Because here's what nobody tells you: the romance is easy. It's the covenant that costs everything. You're 72 years old, and this 38-year-old woman looks at you like you hung the moon. You feel alive again. You feel seen. But 6 months from now, when her friends are questioning her sanity, when your children are threatening to contest your will, when the church gossips are having a field day, what's going to hold you together then? Not feelings, dear one. Covenant. So here's your 5-step kingdom blueprint. Write this down, memorize it, live it. Step 1. Start with prayer, not pressure. Before you hold hands, before you whisper sweet nothings, before you even think about making this official, both of you need to pray, separately and together. I'm talking about the kind of prayer that strips away illusion and exposes truth. The kind of prayer where you say, God, if this is you, confirm it. If this is me, correct it. If this is the enemy, cancel it. Here's my litmus test, and I want you to feel this in your bones. If you can't talk to God with them, you shouldn't build a life with them. Can you pray out loud together without it feeling awkward? Can you worship side by side? Can you cry before the Lord in each other's presence? Because I'm telling you right now, covenant thinks long-term. Lust thinks right now. Step 2. Define the purpose out loud. This is where most relationships fall apart, and nobody wants to admit it. You need to look this person in the eye and ask the question that terrifies everyone. Why are we together? Is this for ministry? To combine your gifts and reach people neither of you could reach alone? Is this for companionship? Because you've been lonely too long and God sent someone to walk with you through your final chapters? Is this for healing? Because both of you carry wounds only the other can understand? Is this for legacy? To build something that outlasts both of your lifetimes? If the only answer you can give is, because we feel good together, then beloved, you're building on sand. Feelings are the foundation of dating. Purpose is the foundation of destiny. I need you to get brutally honest right now. What is God actually building through this connection? Because if you can't articulate it, you don't understand it. And what you don't understand, you can't sustain. Covenant thinks long-term. Lust thinks right now. Step 3. Bring in wise counsel early. Here's where your pride is going to fight you. You're going to want to keep this private, keep it sacred, keep it between just the two of you and God. But Proverbs 1:9 says, "Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety." You need a pastor who isn't afraid to ask hard questions, a therapist who understands both generational realities, what it means to be in your 70s and what it means to be in your 30s. A spiritual mentor who's been married long enough to know that love without wisdom is just passion waiting to implode. Let me be clear. Wise counsel doesn't mean letting people run your relationship. It means letting wisdom protect it. There are blind spots you can't see because you're intoxicated by connection. There are red flags waving that you're ignoring because you're starving for affection. You need someone who loves you enough to tell you the truth you don't want to hear. Step 4. Pre-decide boundaries. This is not romantic, but it's essential. You need to sit down fully clothed, fully sober, fully clear-headed, and define your boundaries before emotion takes over. Physical boundaries. How far is too far before marriage? And don't give me that look like you're too old for this conversation. Your body still works, your desires are still real, and the enemy will use your loneliness to make you compromise everything you've stood for. Financial boundaries. Who pays for what? Are you combining assets or keeping them separate? What happens if this doesn't work out? I know it's uncomfortable, but Proverbs 22 says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." Time boundaries. How much time do you spend together versus with your own families? Because your grandchildren need you, and her career needs her. And if you don't define this now, resentment will define it for you later. Covenant thinks long-term. Lust thinks right now. Step 5. Vision for 5, 10, 20 years. This is the conversation that separates mature love from midlife crisis. You need to talk honestly, and I mean brutally honestly, about health, retirement, caregiving, and death. If you're 75 and she's 40, what happens when you're 85 and need daily care? Is she prepared to be your nurse before she's your widow? If you're 68 and he's 35, what happens when he wants children and your body can't provide them? Are you prepared to release him toward that dream? Or will your ego hold him hostage? Legacy love doesn't just plan for pictures. It plans for paperwork, hospitals, and heaven. It asks the questions that romance wants to avoid. After this message, I want you to grab a notebook and write, "If God blesses me with a younger partner, this is the kind of relationship I want us to build," and write it all out. Every detail, every boundary, every dream, every fear. That becomes your agreement with heaven. You're not just looking for someone to hold your hand today, beloved. You're building a covenant that can carry your name into tomorrow. But here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. There's one red flag that disqualifies everything I just said. One poison that destroys even the strongest blueprint. And if you see this sign, you need to run. Beloved chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred journey together, I need you to hold on to 3 eternal truths that will anchor your soul in the days ahead. First, if God is aligning you with a younger partner, it's not about your desperation, it's about His divine strategy. Your age is not a limitation. It's a qualification. The gray in your hair is not decline, it's a crown of wisdom. And the love stirring in your heart at 70, at 80, is not foolishness, it's proof that God is still writing your story. Second, covenant is built on purpose, not passion alone. Prayer before pressure. Boundaries before butterflies. Wise counsel before wedding vows. You don't rush into kingdom alignment, you build it brick by brick, with God's blueprint as your foundation. Covenant thinks long-term. Lust thinks right now. Never forget that. Third, not every connection is from heaven. If there's manipulation, if there's financial exploitation, if your spirit feels uneasy while your heart feels excited, that's the red flag. God's voice brings peace even in uncertainty. The enemy's voice brings chows disguised as chemistry. But here's what I need you to know with absolute certainty. You are not walking this path alone. The God who created you before time began is still orchestrating your steps right now, in this very season. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't abandoned you to loneliness. He hasn't written you off because of your age. Romans 20 still applies to you. All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. And beyond God's faithfulness, you have a community right here. Look at these comments. See these hearts connecting. This isn't just a YouTube channel. This is a family of believers who understand what it means to hope again when the world says you're past your prime. We see you. We hear you. We will pray with you. So let me ask you one final question and let it settle deep in your spirit. If God opened your heart to love again at this stage of your life, what would you do with that gift? Would you hide it in shame, or would you steward it with wisdom? Before I release you, I want to pray over your life. Wherever you are right now, sitting in your living room, lying in your bed, driving in your car, I want you to receive this prayer as I'm placing my hand on your shoulder, looking you in the eye, and speaking destiny over your future. Heavenly Father, I lift up every precious soul who has stayed with me through this entire message. Lord, you see their hearts. You know their loneliness. You feel their longing for companionship. And you, in your infinite wisdom, are writing a love story they never expected. Father, I pray for divine alignment. If there is a younger partner you're preparing for them, let that connection be unmistakable. Remove every counterfeit. Expose every manipulation. Protect them from users, abusers, and those who would take advantage of their vulnerability. Give them courage to love again without shame. Give them wisdom to build covenant, not just romance. Surround them with wise counsel who will protect what you're building. And Lord, silence the voices of mockery, judgment, and criticism that would try to steal their joy. I pray for their health, their finances, their families. Let this season not divide but multiply their blessings. And when they finally stand before you, let them say, Lord, thank you for not letting me finish alone. In Jesus' mighty name, let your will be done. Amen. Now, chosen one, I need to hear from you. Comment below and tell me, what spoke to your heart today? What question is still burning in your spirit? And if you need prayer for a specific situation, share it. This community will surround you with intercession. If this message touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. There's someone in your life right now, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, who's struggling with this exact issue. They need to know they're not crazy. They need to know they're not alone. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Every week, we're unpacking the mysteries of your divine calling, your sacred assignments, and the love stories God writes when the world least expects it. Thank you for watching until the very end. Thank you for opening your heart. Thank you for trusting me with your sacred journey. Your covenant is closer than you think. Walk forward in faith. God bless you mightily.